When you think of global power shifts, you probably think of industrial giants and superpowers. But today, a different story is unfolding. A small island nation, known more for its vibrant culture and beaches than industrial muscle, is making a move that could send tremors through a critical global supply chain. Jamaica, once a powerhouse of bauxite, is waking its sleeping giant. It's a high-stakes gamble to reclaim its spot in the global aluminum market, an ambition that has caught the anxious attention of both Washington and Beijing. This isn't just about digging red dirt. It's about redrawing geopolitical lines, challenging environmental limits, and deciding the future of a nation caught between two competing world orders. This is the story of how Jamaica's massive bauxite play could reshape the world as we know it. So, why all the fuss? It all comes down to one metal: aluminum. It's no exaggeration to say it's a foundational material of the modern world. Just look around. It's in your smartphone, your car, the power lines that bring you electricity, and the planes that connect continents. Its unique combination of being lightweight, strong, and corrosion-resistant makes it indispensable. And our demand for it is exploding. The global shift to a green economy is built on aluminum. Electric vehicles use way more aluminum than gas-powered cars to offset heavy batteries and extend range. Wind turbines and solar panel frames rely on it. As the world races to decarbonize, the hunger for aluminum isn't just growing. It's accelerating like never before. This creates a problem. The global supply chain for aluminum is surprisingly fragile. The journey from raw earth to a finished product starts with bauxite ore, which is refined into a white powder called alumina, and finally smelted into aluminum. The choke point is in those first two stages: bauxite mining and alumina refining. For decades, the world has leaned heavily on just a few key suppliers. One of the biggest is Guinea in West Africa, home to the world's largest bauxite reserves. But political instability, including a military coup in 2021, has made global markets nervous. A sudden disruption there could cripple the aluminum industry overnight. Another major player is Australia, but its trade tensions with China, the world's top aluminum producer and consumer, have highlighted the risks of politics messing with resource flows. Here's the central problem: the world needs more aluminum than ever, but the supply chains we count on are getting unreliable and politicized. Western nations, especially the United States, are waking up to a scary reality. America's own aluminum production has withered over the past few decades as smelters shut down due to high energy costs. The US is now heavily dependent on imports for both bauxite and alumina, creating a strategic vulnerability that has military planners and economic advisors on edge. What's at stake isn't just the price of a soda can. It's the ability to build next-generation fighter jets, construct a green energy grid, and maintain a competitive manufacturing edge. The race is on to find stable, reliable, and preferably friendly sources of bauxite and alumina. And in this high-stakes global search, all eyes are suddenly turning to a small island in the Caribbean. Jamaica is no stranger to the bauxite game. Back in the 1960s, it was the world's leading producer, its rich, red earth fueling the post-war industrial boom. At its peak in the 1970s, the island was churning out over 15 million tons of ore a year. The industry has declined since then, but in 2018, Jamaica still produced a significant 10 million tons of bauxite, placing it among the world's top producers. Today's strategy isn't just about digging up raw ore and shipping it off. It's about climbing the value chain by refining that ore into higher-value alumina right there on the island. The current push is a two-pronged attack, centered on two major industrial complexes: Jamalco and Alpart. First, there's Jamalco, a joint venture that's a key link to the West. The Jamaican government holds a 45% stake, while the majority 55% is owned by an American company. With an existing annual capacity of 1.4 million tons of alumina, Jamalco is already a significant player. But it's facing a challenge. Its mines in the parish of Clarendon are running low. To secure its future, Jamalco has launched Project Restore, a massive investment planned from 2025 to 2027 to open new mines in the neighboring parish of Manchester. This isn't just routine upkeep. It's a strategic move to ensure a steady flow of alumina to the global market, especially to its American partners. Recent upgrades to its powerhouse, set for commissioning in early 2026, signal a serious commitment to maximizing production. But the real game changer, the piece that could truly elevate Jamaica's status, is the Alpart refinery. Located in Nain, Street Elizabeth, Alpart is the largest refinery on the island, with a production capacity of 1.65 million tons of alumina per year and the potential to expand to 2 million tons. The plant was shut down in September 2019 by its new Chinese owners, Jiuquan Iron and Steel Company, GISCO, for a major modernization project. Its reopening has been the subject of intense speculation ever since. Throughout 2025, Jamaican officials expressed confidence that a phased reopening was scheduled for the last quarter of the year. However, as of early 2026, the reality on the ground seems more complicated. Union leaders representing bauxite workers have been publicly demanding a clear timeline from the government, suggesting the much-hyped restart has either stalled or is far behind schedule. This uncertainty highlights the huge challenges involved. Restarting a massive industrial facility after years of dormancy is a monumental task, filled with technical and financial risks. If, and it's still a big if, GISCO brings Alpart back online to its full capacity, Jamaica's total annual alumina output would surge towards 3 million tons. While that's a far cry from giants like China or Australia, it would more than double Jamaica's current output. In a tight global market desperate for new suppliers, an extra 1.65 million tons of alumina isn't just a drop in the ocean. It's a significant injection of new capacity from a strategic location, and it's enough to make everyone sit up and take notice. The dream of a revitalized bauxite sector hinges on the fate of the silent Alpart refinery. This is all happening on a global chessboard where the United States and China are the dominant players, competing for resources and influence. By luck of geography and geology, Jamaica finds itself right in the middle of this great power rivalry. For the United States, Jamaica represents a golden opportunity. The decline of American refining has left the country dangerously exposed. Jamaica is, literally, in America's backyard. Its proximity to U.S. ports offers a huge logistical advantage over suppliers in Africa or Australia, slashing shipping times and costs. This isn't a new idea, it's a renewal of a historic partnership. During the Cold War, the U.S. recognized Jamaica's strategic importance. In a 1982 agreement under the Reagan administration, the U.S. arranged to buy 1.6 million tons of Jamaican bauxite for its national defense stockpile. It was a clear signal. Jamaican bauxite was considered a matter of American national security. Today, that same logic applies with even greater urgency. The American ownership stake in the Jamaica refinery gives the U.S. a reliable, Western-aligned source of alumina. Every ton from Jamaica is a ton that doesn't have to come from a less stable region or a geopolitical rival. For Washington, this looks like a no-brainer, a way to build resilience into a fragile supply chain. But this is where the story gets complicated, because half of Jamaica's bauxite equation doesn't lead to Washington. It leads straight to Beijing. The silent giant, the Alpart refinery, is 100% owned by GISCO, a Chinese state-owned enterprise. The acquisition wasn't just a commercial deal. It was a strategic investment under China's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, a global infrastructure project that critics see as a tool for expanding Chinese influence. When Jamaica officially joined the BRI in 2019, it signaled a deepening of ties with Beijing, a move that set off quiet alarm bells in Washington. GISCO's control of Alpart puts Jamaica in an incredibly tricky position. If Alpart reopens, it will be a Chinese state-controlled entity producing millions of tons of a strategic material just a stone's throw from Florida. This creates a dilemma for everyone. Proposed U.S. tariffs aimed at Chinese industry could potentially hit alumina from Alpart, sidelining a huge chunk of Jamaica's output from the American market. Within Jamaica, the Chinese presence is a source of heated debate. While Chinese investment promises jobs and growth, it also brings fears of neo-colonialism. concerns about unsustainable debt, imported labor, and a loss of national sovereignty. For many Jamaicans, it feels like trading one historical master for another. The government in Kingston is forced to perform a delicate diplomatic balancing act, courting its American partners at Jamaica while managing its relationship with its largest single investor, Gemini at Alpart. It's a strategy that's as potentially rewarding as it is incredibly risky. The promise of an economic boom and geopolitical relevance is powerful, but this ambition comes at a profound and perhaps irreversible cost. The story of bauxite in Jamaica is also one of environmental devastation and social conflict. For decades, critics of the industry have labeled its impact ecocide. Bauxite mining is brutal. It's almost all open pit, which means everything on the surface has to go. Forests are clear-cut, topsoil is scraped away, and entire landscapes are permanently altered. Between the 1950s and 1990, mining damaged the natural ecology of at least 60,000 acres of rural Jamaican land. This isn't just losing trees. It's the destruction of ecosystems and the loss of farmland that has sustained communities for generations. And then there's the waste. Refining bauxite into alumina generates a toxic byproduct called red mud. For every ton of alumina produced, the process creates roughly 1 to 1.5 tons of this caustic slurry. This red mud is a chemical cocktail, highly alkaline and laced with minerals. Historically, this toxic waste has been stored in massive, unlined ponds, vast red lakes that scar the landscape. By 1990, the industry had already generated over 200 million tons of this hazardous material. The risk of it seeping into groundwater or a dam failing is an ever-present threat. Residents near these sites have long complained of health problems, from respiratory illnesses to skin and eye ailments, which they blame on caustic dust from the refineries and residue ponds. Nowhere is this conflict more intense than in the fight for cockpit country. This unique region is a breathtaking landscape of limestone hills and deep valleys. It's a biodiversity hotspot, but its most critical role is as the island's water tower. Cockpit country is the source of 6 major rivers and supplies an estimated 40% of the island's total freshwater needs. It is, quite literally, the heart that pumps life-giving water to much of the nation. For years, environmental groups and local communities have fought to protect cockpit country from bauxite mining. The government eventually designated a protected area, but activists argue the boundaries were drawn to favor mining companies, leaving crucial water sources vulnerable. Mining leases have been granted right up to the edge of the protected zone, threatening to poison the water supply for hundreds of thousands of people. This is not just an environmental issue, it is a human rights issue. The areas most affected are often home to marginalized rural populations and historic maroon communities, descendants of escaped enslaved Africans who consider cockpit country sovereign territory. For them, mining isn't just a threat to their livelihood, it's an invasion. The compensation offered to residents for their lost land is another sore point. As of early 2026, there is no centralized government record of the damage. Compensation is handled case by case between communities and the companies. This opaque process leaves vulnerable people in a weak negotiating position, facing the loss of their ancestral lands for what they feel are inadequate payments. It creates a landscape of resentment and a feeling that the nation's pursuit of wealth is being built on the backs of its most vulnerable citizens. Jamaica is at a crossroads. The nation is making a bold play to leverage its most valuable resource, seeking a larger role in a vital global industry. The potential rewards are huge: economic growth, jobs, and a new level of strategic importance on the world stage. The government's strategy is a high-wire act, trying to balance the competing interests of the US and China in the hope of securing a better future for Jamaica. Jamaica's push for bauxite expansion comes with profound risks, threatening to accelerate environmental degradation already visible across the island. The fight for cockpit country has become a symbol of this struggle, highlighting the tension between economic promise and the preservation of irreplaceable natural heritage. The uncertain future of the Alpart refinery underscores the obstacles facing Jamaica's ambitions, reflecting the challenges of balancing growth with responsibility. Ultimately, Jamaica's bauxite story is a reflection of our time. A small nation navigating global demand for resources while making agonizing choices between progress and survival. Can Jamaica turn its red earth into gold without paying too high a price?